This is your weekly update for the greater Portland, Maine area. These are closed sales in the last 7 days, median numbers. Days on market came down this week to 7 days on market. The sale to list ratio still at 100%. Your median close price went up a little bit to $510,000. Moving on to the national benchmarks, the average 30-year fixed interest rate went up again to 6.6%. Your U.S. inflation kicked up again to 3.8%. And of course, appreciation of real estate still a little soft nationally at 0.7%. So this week, the spotlight I want to talk about is challenges with appraisers. So you and a buyer have a house, you get it under contract, they're happy with the price, hopefully they're happy with the condition, green light, right? Well, if they have financing, there can still be a lot in front of you. Two things in particular I've been seeing a lot of lately are issues with pricing and issues with conditions. So let's talk about that. First thing to know is when the appraisal is put in, the buyer, the seller, the lender, none of them have control over who is going to appraise that property. And there's a huge variation on, even from appraiser to appraiser, what value looks like. So you might end up with a value that you don't think makes sense, the buyer doesn't make sense, your lender doesn't make sense, but you have to know how are you going to deal with that. So talk about that ahead of time. Values are coming in more conservative in my experience right now. So moving on to the next one, which is challenges with conditions. So there's always been this question of, is this going to appraise unconditioned, meaning is everything in the home the way that this loan would want? And with FHA, VA, RD, you're always aware of it. But even with a conventional loan right now, we're seeing two areas come back more often as conditioned, and that is the roof and the foundation. So appraiser goes out, it might even come back at value, but we've been seeing conditions about homes that have any historical wetness in the basement or active wetness in the basement, and the appraiser is looking from an opinion from a professional that that is not a large issue and that it's going to be okay, and it certainly can put a wrench in the system for the buyer and the seller to have to deal with this, to have to get somebody out there. Hopefully it's not a big issue. The next big one being the roof. Both appraisers and insurers, in my opinion, have gotten a lot more tough on this. They want to know there's enough life on that roof. They want to know the condition is acceptable to whatever their standard is. And if it's not, you're going to end up having to either repair the roof or show proof that you're going to do that within a timely fashion for maybe the lender and or the insurance company. So again, if you're a buyer or a seller, have these things on your mind, discuss them with your agent, even discuss them with the other side early in the contract. If this doesn't appraise for value, do we have a plan? If these conditions come up, do we have a plan? How are we going to successfully get this thing to the closing table still? I hope you have a great week. As always, let me know if you have any questions.